This whirlwind of a narrative begins with the protagonist, Chen Yu, being brutally dominated by a woman. The intensity immediately signals a compelling story. Chen Yu is pinned to the ground, enduring a vicious assault, and questioning why these fools are so desperate to steal his supplies. The arrogant woman rationalizes her actions, claiming it's her right to prepare for the apocalypse. With her fame and power, she views him as an insignificant being, a mere weakling to be crushed. She taunts him with the challenge of reclaiming his supplies, only to swiftly order her men to beat him senseless, cruelly dashing his hopes. To add insult to injury, she discards the food without consuming it, revealing she's doing this for her own amusement. Left alone on the ground, her lackeys jeer and mock the idiot Chen Yu, seeing him as nothing more than a loser, a stepping stone for their entertainment. It's a classic setup for a downtrodden main character. However, Chen Yu possesses a determined spirit and refuses to accept her decree. He drags his battered body towards the psycho woman, only to have his hand contemptuously stepped on. While some might fantasize about such humiliation, Chen Yu is not one of them. The woman's ego is astronomical. She deems him unworthy of even being her lapdog, let alone gracing her presence. Finally, she delivers a crushing blow. Presumably Chen Yu's crush, has chosen her brother over him. So, not only is he physically battered, but his love interest has also been taken. This is prime villain origin story material. Chen Yu, practically moping on the ground, refuses to surrender to defeat. It seems there's hope for everyone, as even a loser like him is suddenly graced by a system materializing out of nowhere. It detected his sharp feelings of vengeance and bound itself to those emotions. Upon binding, Chen Yu receives an astronomical sum, more than 9 trillion credits. If this is the reward for being beaten and losing a girlfriend, many would sign up. The amusing part is the specific use case for these credits, to enact his revenge against women. The scumbag system, as it's called, wants him to be a scoundrel, but in an unexpected way. The money is solely to lure materialistic women, then deliver a harsh reality check. The more he infuriates such women, the more his credits will increase, multiplying 100-fold with every woman angered. Chen Yu is ecstatic about the prospect of spending this fortune and becoming incredibly powerful. He also receives an additional bonus. Celebrating, Chen Yu aspires to a revenge plot against Lin Bei, the arrogant woman's name, or perhaps a different tormentor, and all who trampled him. Suddenly, a red-headed woman appears, demanding he get lost and stop pretending to be injured. She refuses to lend him anything, not a single penny or any supplies. In response, Chen Yu surprises her, stating he's got it covered and wants to treat her to some food for the day. Naturally, this enrages the woman, Xu Yao, even more, which fuels the system, converting her anger into credits. This confirms the system's legitimacy for Chen Yu, who then generously hands her a large quantity of supplies, complimenting her good looks. All at once, she's shocked and finds him alluring. Her affection points reach 10. Reaching 100 points means a person has been successfully conquered, and anything spent on her will be immediately refunded, an unexpected side quest. Xu Yao is still astonished that he's letting her keep so many supplies. He promises more when she finishes these and even shares his address. This causes her affection to grow further, as she perceives him as caring. With every action, her affection increases, reaching 30 points. Chen Yu returns home, excited about his progress. The moment he arrives, he spots a couple being affectionate, presenting an opportunity. The woman is shocked by his sudden appearance, but he reminds them the elevator is public. The man in the red coat, presumably with his ex, Louis, mocks him for trying to win back his old girl after losing her. But Chen Yu verbally eviscerates the man, calling his ex used goods. Louis's rage flares, but Chen Yu is no longer interested in an above-average woman, he's aiming for goddesses now. Just then, Xu Yao appears, her staggering beauty immediately paralyzing the man who was infatuated with him moments before. He'd been wanting to meet Xu Yao, and now he has the chance. However, he suffers a major humiliation when the goddess walks straight to Chen Yu, ignoring him. The clown is shocked that a loser like Chen Yu could attract such a top-tier goddess. Is losing her new man while Chen Yu decides to capitalize on this opportunity to further bruise their egos. He casually chats with the beautiful redhead, who mentions how supply prices have skyrocketed since the apocalypse began, bread that cost 8 now costs 160. Yi interrupts, mocking Chenyu for being too pathetically poor to afford bread. Sensing an opportunity to provoke Yi, Chenyu gives Chuyao a generous amount of food supplies, delighting her. This causes the short-haired, jealous Yi to become even more enraged. Chenyu dismisses her, telling her to revert to her previous attitude if she wants a chance. His words hit her like an emotional truck, increasing her rage points. Deciding to provoke her further, he reminds Yi that she can't even hold a proper argument despite being a top student, implying her true talent is finding new men. Yi struggles for a comeback, but Chenyu casually dismisses her as a fragile mess. Meanwhile, Chuyao fully accepts him as her new protector and allows him space in her dwelling. He's securing a safe place with the goddess and already profiting immensely. Things look promising as they leave the amateurish couple behind, treating them like dirt. Yi's rage climbs so high it converts to 100,000 points. Chuyao's favorability for him also increases, granting him an extra 100,000 for treating her well. Chenyu is living the life. The goddess is curious if he has some kind of magic ability to create food out of thin air. He decides to use magic as the excuse and promises to keep his word. Chuyao gets up in his personal space, teasing him with a comment and asking if he's genuinely interested in her. The young man, Chenyu, changes the subject, suggesting they should eat. However, playing hard to get works wonders for him, as the goddess becomes even more motivated to win him over eventually. Meanwhile, he is internally sweating bullets, realizing she's making advances when her favorability has only reached 50. He's terrified of her and doesn't want to rush things. A news channel announces an incoming cold wave, which will cause temperatures to plummet and induce heavy rain. The apocalypse has also brought unstable weather conditions. Chenyu fears that power outages will soon follow, and mutations will continue to emerge. Speaking of which, the power suddenly goes out, surprising Chuyao because it's far too early, and the rain hasn't even started yet. All at once, there's a knock on the door. The voice from the other side claims to be an inspector who wants to conduct a routine checkup. As the goddess reaches for the door handle, Chenyu tells her to stop. She doesn't understand why he's stopping her, when suddenly Chenyu reminds her that the inspection crew shouldn't be due for at least another 15 days. She then wonders if it's related to the power outage or perhaps they've come to check for illegal substances. The young man counters that too, teasing her for thinking this is a college dorm room. This remark gets on her nerves and increases her rage points. Anyway, Chenyu steps up and explains that the maintenance she's referring to should fall under the responsibility of the property management crew, not the neighborhood inspection committee. The voice from the other side roars, demanding they open up. Chenyu has a blade ready in hand and, using the peephole, responds by saying that they're busy making love so they can't open the door. The goddess is shocked that he used this as an excuse. The individuals on the other side of the door are extremely annoyed and demand they open up, apparently eager for an audience. They accuse the couple of causing the outage, causing Chuyao to get pissed. Sensing danger, Chenyu tells her to get behind him so she doesn't get hurt. The goddess is stunned that he's doing so much to help her. In reality, this man only cares about his credits, but his actions increase her favorability up to 60 points. He thinks she might fall for him completely if he cooks her a meal at this point. Anyway, the door is slammed open by an unattractive individual. Right off the bat, Chenyu realizes that this is going to be difficult to manage. Meanwhile, these crude individuals are salivating at the sight of food displayed openly. Chenyu makes an excuse that one of their family members died and this food is merely a collection of offerings. But these men don't care at all, they just want to gorge themselves. Chenyu pulls out his blade and intimidates the invaders by killing their leader, an act that simultaneously thrills his female companion. The other two want to kill him, so Chenyu pulls out another strategy. He surrenders all the food in exchange for a chance to escape. It seems like a pretty good deal. So, one of them snatches the bag from him. Both decide to leave, happy that they were able to achieve their objective. But what they didn't understand was that this was a plan to create an opening. Chenyu easily pounces from behind and slashes another one of them in cold blood, frightening the goddess. He dodges an attack from the last man and thinks it's only fair for them to take the food back since these guys didn't even care about offerings to the dead. The last man gives in to his greed, and this time he's not planning to be deceived. Shenyu surprises him with a display of his powers, materializing food out of thin air. This creates another opening for him, allowing Shenyu to kill the final man. The goddess is horrified by his ruthlessness and manipulative side. He simply tells her to shut up, as he couldn't care less. This increases the goddess's rage, but that only goes on to reward him. She's terrified at the sight of danger and wonders what they should do now, especially since the others will come looking for them. Shenyu argues that nobody cares much about dead bodies in the middle of the apocalypse, and he's fine burying these men in the garden, but their plans go awry the moment he pops out of the blue, stating that she's seen it all. The young man threatens to kill them all, promising that they won't live to tell the tale. Of course, they threaten him back by saying that they'll alert the police, which is amusing given they're relying on law enforcement in the middle of an apocalypse. Shenyu also kicks the man, Lin, straight in the groin, ending his family line. So, the main issue is they just want food for themselves and want the main character to provide them with supplies as his neighbors. But Shenyu argues that he's motivated to kill them all instead. He taunts him, stating that no one would care about his shitty supplies if not for the fact that they were in the middle of an apocalypse. To that, he casually retorts that they should mind their own business if his food is so insignificant. After all, he has the supplies, and they're just here to take them without giving anything in return. The more he talks, the more he pisses off E, even going as far as to make her beg for food. Her rage grows even further. Meanwhile, Lin, the man who got hit in the family jewels, has had enough. He orders his lackeys to attack the couple. Goddess Chuyao over here is ready to smack them with her shoe, not that it's going to do anything. With laser-fast speed, Shenyu ends their pathetic lives in an instant, horrifying E and Lin, as he's done being bullied. He stands over the terrified couple, remarking that it's time for them to meet their maker. Lin tries to attack him, but to no avail, as he receives a hard stab. Shenyu promises to properly educate Lin Bei, presumably Lin's sister, the initial tormentor, after dealing with E. The dead man's body flops to the ground, while E immediately undergoes an attitude switch. She claims that she was trying to test him, and now that he passed, they can be together again. Shenyu is genuinely fed up with her nonsense and tells her to get lost. It's surprising that he let her escape. The goddess is a bit annoyed that he let her escape, taunting him for having some past feelings, but Shenyu tells her that jealousy is pointless if he is her competition. Also, she's worried if they'll actually be burying these people in the garden. Shenyu reveals that he's a menace and intends to throw their bloodied bodies out the window. This will show their enemies that they shouldn't come mess with them. Remember the woman who was bullying him at the start? Her lackeys are worried about the cold wave, but she, Lin Bei, is fine, knowing that her brother can always provide her with supplies. That is, until she and her group hear the sound of people screaming about dead bodies falling from the sky. Lin Bei receives the perfect gift to ruin her evening as her brother's corpse hits the pavement with a splat. She screams as even more bodies are tossed from the window and onto the road. Seeing that it's raining dead bodies, the woman instantly faints out of terror. With the bodies thrown out, the goddess wonders how they will counteract the cold wave. Shenyu has a plan but wants to enjoy something to eat before rushing to make a decision. The system reviews and assesses the additional points he gained, and he goes on to present the attractive lady a nice meal. She takes a bite, grateful that a man like him is so considerate of her, even during an apocalypse. As for Shenyu, he's not hungry and doesn't want to waste time. He has to prepare his defense against the cold wave. Meanwhile, Chuyao's favorability finally reaches 100, and she is fully tamed. He gains all of the points that were spent on her and unlocks even more features. But aside from that, Shenyu wasn't expecting to run into Lin Bei, presumably the full name of the initial bully, all of a sudden. She's still knocked out while her men take notice of the loser from before. Shenyu feigns ignorance, acting like they called someone else. He also proceeds to slap the living daylights out of one man for making a mom joke. He wants to wrap this up quickly, especially after investing 100,000 points to boost his physical stats so he could bully these individuals back. The bald man is shocked, seeing the young man from before get so strong. He gets on his knees and begs to accept the error of his ways. As for the other man, he also apologizes and starts calling Shenyu big bro. They're happy to help him do anything, actually, they're terrified and afraid of what he'll ask. After giving it some thought, Chenyu asks them about the cause of the power and water outage. It turns out that the goons he killed earlier were responsible for shutting it off manually. It was their scheme to steal supplies. Chenyu tells them to turn it back on and also wants them to bring Biwei up to his apartment. If they can do that, their lives will be spared. It's the perfect offer, and the men accept it. Later that day, they're having a delicious meal when Biwei finally regains consciousness. Questioning where the heck they are, she's shocked that they're casually enjoying beef noodles. And when she spots Chenyu, responsible for her earlier predicament, the girl throws a fit. She reminds her lackeys not to be bribed by some mere noodles. Chenyu calmly offers her a chance to eat noodles as well, but she thinks he's being arrogant, assuming he's doing this for Yi's sake, not knowing that he ran away earlier. The teasing continues with Chenyu mocking her for not eating the noodles and enjoying his own food. Meanwhile, Biwei's rage levels are rising. Pissed off and unable to contain herself any longer, she slaps the bowl from one of her lackeys, demanding that they stop eating like a bunch of idiots. Then, turning her attention to the main issue, she roars at the loser Chenyu, demanding that he make a set of noodles for her as well. Her orders also include him kneeling and feeding it to her until she's satisfied. Failure to follow through will make her call her brother on him, which is hilarious considering Chenyu decimated her brother a while ago and even chucked his corpse out the window. With the composure of a Sigma male who has low tolerance for nonsense, Chenyu carefully sets his bowl down, grabs her hand, and in the next scene, throws her out for being rude. As he slams the door shut, Chuyao feels guilty for the innocent girl who won't have any shelter against the cold wave. She's getting annoyed with his every action, and Chenyu isn't taking it lightly either, because he breaks the unspoken rule and bluntly asks if she's worried about Biwei's cramps. The funny thing is, Biwei is indeed hurting from the way he tossed her out so ruthlessly and without any noodles. The real trouble starts when she begins to notice the snow around her. Her fears are amplified when she realizes that the cold wave, which was supposed to arrive later, has come too early. Smacking her arms against the door, she offers to spare Chenyu's life as long as he lets her inside, promising she won't call her brother anymore. But if he doesn't, he is surely going to die. Chenyu destroys this girl with an immediate reality check, ruthlessly reminding her how her brother's corpse is rotting in the cold. It all clicks, and it occurs to Biwei that the corpse that fell from the sky earlier was actually her own brother's. Biwei denies such ridiculous claims, which is interesting. So, Chenyu happily decides to tell her the location of the corpse. He tells her that her brother's body is downstairs. Again, Biwei denies his words, but this time tears are forming at the corners of her eyes. She knows his words are true but doesn't want to accept the grim reality. Also, he pops out of nowhere, offering Biwei a chance to get shelter and save herself. If not for that, she would be rotting in the cold as well. The whole scene is observed by Chuyao, who realizes that this situation may play out detrimentally for them in the long run. After all, Yi is obviously going to plot her own plans against them. Chenyu carefully considers his options for a second while his so-called bros are also trying to win him over, begging for a chance to let the pitiful girl inside. Meanwhile, Biwei runs to seek Yi's embrace. But Chenyu is done sitting around and makes up his mind to finally help her, even after what happened to him. Upon opening the door, he finds the two women surprised to see that he opened up. To Biwei's utter shock, Yi deploys her previous trick, begging for another chance from Chenyu because she can't handle the cold herself and is starving for food. Seeing this, even Biwei is like, what the hell did this woman just say to him? She even tries to stop her from kneeling to this loser, and her rage only continues to increase. She wants to be a girl boss, acting like noodles are nothing to them. But to her utter amazement, he pushes her away as if she never even knew this woman. She's all on her knees before Chenyu, begging for another chance, even tugging his shirt and offering to become his dog. But unfortunately for her, Chenyu isn't into weird kinks like that and swats her away. With Yi reduced to such a humiliating position, Biwei tries to tell her that they can always find supplies and that a woman like her shouldn't be on her knees begging. But her request is met with a psychotic fit from Yi, who lashes out and reminds the dumb woman that it's already -1 degree Celsius outside, going out would be no different than trying to kill themselves. Also, this fake ally is suddenly acting like Biwei was responsible for pinning her against Chenyu in the first place. She finishes her rant by coldly admitting that it's a good thing Lin faced his death. After all, it's only thanks to her brother's wealth that she was forced to draw away from Chunyu. Ignoring all the insults, Biwei's attention is fixated on a single comment, the part that highlighted her brother's death. He doubles down and explains that both Biwei and her brother are rotten to the core, mere scumbags. Witnessing the entertaining drama before his eyes, Chunyu is genuinely enjoying the scene. He applauds them as the system takes notice of their anger, which only fuels his personal bank account. Then he starts by pointing out two important things. First, he doesn't give a damn about E and wants her to leave. This causes her rage to increase by another 279 points. Secondly, he turns to Biwei and openly admits that he's the murderer responsible for her brother's death. The only person who hasn't accepted that fact is Biwei herself. He's perfectly fine with her submitting to him and is happy to consider her as his sister if that happens. But if she doesn't follow this offer, she'll meet the same fate as E. His condescending words anger her even more than E, shooting her rage points up another 600. She calls him a lapdog who deserves death. But that's all he needed to hear, as Chunyu shuts the door on her face, leaving her seething with fury outside. This woman is about to explode, with the way her rage points are skyrocketing every second. From the other side, the young man is pretty impressed by her insane anger issues. Still, he was able to gain nearly 2,300 rage points, which exchanged for about 230,000 credits, shooting his balance all the way up to 400,000. Despite their ranting, they only continue to make him richer. The joyous news of receiving 400,000 is making Chunyu salivate at the profit rate. He thinks these girls are actually the best things that ever happened to him. His stupid and childlike maniacal laughter has Biwei's underlings acting terrified. They don't know what's gotten into this guy all of a sudden, as if he's turned evil and is going to kill them soon. But instead, Chunyu is in the mood to party. He whips out tons of beer, thanks to his hefty supply system, and announces that they'll be drinking until they're all fully knocked out. Their celebration is interrupted when suddenly the power goes out yet again, alarming them all. Even Shu Yao is surprised, as it shouldn't make sense for a second power cut. She wonders if the neighborhood committee people are responsible for causing trouble again. After all, they did pull off a bold scheme last time. Biwei's underlings spell their demise. The problem is, with no electricity, there is no heating. And if there is no heating to keep them warm, the temperature will quickly drop and destroy them thanks to the cold wave. It's quite hilarious that it's practically freezing outside, and Shu Yao hasn't even done the slightest to cover herself up. Anyway, Chunyu shares his own thoughts. He doesn't believe that the people of the committee are responsible for this one. This time, it's possible that the temperature dropped so low that it affected the circuits and caused some sort of jamming, but that's a new problem in and of itself. Chunyu tells them not to panic, as they can survive without electricity thanks to the gas supply. He recommends eating hot food so they can feel warmer as a result. Finally, he addresses Chu Yao's outfit and recommends she wear warm clothes. Unfortunately, this woman doesn't have anything apart from seasonal clothes, the rest she throws away, another level of richness, a girl getting a new wardrobe every season. The worst part is she doesn't even have blankets. This is bad news. So, Chunyu turns to his system, inquiring how much time is needed until the next item category is unlocked in the shop. The system explains that in order to unlock that tier from the Vengeance shop, he's going to have to spend a staggering 500,000 credits. Chenyu's jaw drops in disgust and annoyance. He blurts out his thoughts in real life, calling her a failure and a stupid woman, which is the easiest way to make a girlfriend pissed right off the bat. She questions, why would someone ever even keep winter clothes in the summer? Chunyu bites back, emphasizing that it's normal to do that and keep them in a closet. He thinks she's being annoyed for no reason when she's the one who did something stupid in the first place. Again, don't ever do this to your girlfriend, it's the fastest way to end up single. Shu Yao calls him brain damaged, but it seems Chunyu is actually executing a strategy here to make her mad and collect more points. Meanwhile, the two underlings observing the scene are terrified because Mommy and Daddy are having a fight. They're practically trembling and wonder if the cold got to their heads. Shu Yao is completely fed up and fuming with rage. She turns to them and calls all three of the men brain-dead fools. Just as planned, Shenyu pissed her off the right amount, causing the system to assess the points and hand him another conversion of 100,000. With this, his balance is set to be used. He can now deploy 500,000 points and unlock another tier in the shop. Of course, it all depends on what he'll find, because if it's not the clothes he's looking for, they're all doomed. The goddess is still pissed and annoyed that he's practically beefing with her for no reason because of his supplies. Her continuous rage fuels his currency and adds to his account. Shenyu is having a laugh in the middle of her temper tantrum, which baffles her completely and makes her stop for a second. Lucky for them, the power comes back. The underlings in the back are celebrating with glee. Finally, they're all saved. Even the goddess is surprised how it came back quicker than she thought, so maybe it was just an outage and nothing more. Shenyu is glad that his luck worked out in the moment he really needed it. Then he ends up spending 100,000 points to secure half a year's worth of utilities for them. With this, they're all set, and the only thing left is to cash in. So, what this man does next is bring out a megaphone and announce his services to the entire apartment building. He explains that he's happy to take care of any revenge plans against any suffering they've endured. His sudden announcement is met with rage by everyone in the building. They think this man is a clown who's making sick jokes in the middle of an apocalypse while they're practically freezing. It's a good thing, though, as their rage comes with points, helping him line his pockets with more credits. Shenyu is enjoying being a menace to society, hoping that he pisses off some more people with this side of him. While he's quietly giggling, the underlings are suspicious of his mental health and wonder if the cold got to his brain. One ends up getting reprimanded for voicing those thoughts. They really think he's on the spectrum. Anyway, the rage points from the total amount collected line up to upwards of 800,000, the most he's ever received in one go. Shenyu is out here posing confidently while the rest of them are genuinely concerned for his mental health, even going as far as to ask, "What's 1 + 1, just to see if he's doing alright." Shenyu doesn't give a damn about math questions anymore and basically says, "Forget the rules, because I am the rules," thanks to the fact that he's getting free money. Shu Yao is genuinely having a headache with all the things that are happening recently. What's worse, the neighbors are angry and banging at their door, ready to smash their way inside if he doesn't open up. Turns out his words didn't come at a cheap price, and they can't even fight all of these people at once. One of the underlings has already accepted his fate, even though the goddess thinks they're doomed. But not to worry, the young man comes in a hurry. He talks about how he's experienced in a variety of skills called PUA, CPU, KTV, and PPT. The baffled reaction of the underlings is on point because, just like the reader, they're like, "What the heck?" Apparently, those abbreviations meant that he's skilled in manipulation, brainwashing, betrayal, and selling fake promises. Outside the building, there's an aggressive woman demanding for the tough guy to come out in the open since he was so brave earlier. She even threatens to smash their power box if these guys don't open the door soon. This is bad, especially when Shenyu realizes that he's dealing with a famous internet celebrity called Sunsigner. So, he comes out acting like a chill guy, bringing out a big and small hammer for them to use. Signer's servant mocks Shenyu for thinking they won't actually break the power box. Even she calls him brain-dead. The brain-dead allegations are strong with this story. Shenyu pushes away the lackey and fully encourages them to go ahead and smash the power box. So that's exactly what this man does. He uses the big hammer to break the power box while Shenyu observes calmly. Signer calls him a loser, reminding him that this is the consequence of messing with the wrong people. Even her lackey is overconfident and wants to treat Shenyu as his new underling. But what they don't realize is that this is all a good thing for the main character. To their utter shock, the power box recovers on its own, even though it was smashed just now. Signer and the others don't have any words to explain what happened either. Shenyu is in the mood to mess around, so he mocks the servant for being so weak that he couldn't break the power box. So that's what he does, he tries again and again. At first, the servant thinks that the power box is completely ruined, but then it recovers right before his very eyes, sinking him in despair. Shenyu calmly insults Signer's taste in men, taunting her for picking weak-looking stick figures who can't even break a simple box. Fully enraged, the idiot turns to Shenyu and decides to make him his target instead of the power box. Of course, he flunks that too, because Chinyu casually evades his swing and uses this as an opening to deliver a knee kick to his generational jewels. That humiliating attack staggers him completely, while Chenyu figures he should call him the Prince of Emptiness from now on, since that's what any woman dating him will be experiencing. Someone threw him outside in the cold to tend to that critical burn. The internet celeb thinks she's important and argues that they'll be running out of supplies soon, even if their power box is intact, which is hilarious because Chenyu acts like a dainty princess who doesn't have the best solution against it. Just like any TikToker in this generation, she tells him about her so-called influence and how she's got millions of followers. But little does she know, Chenyu does not give a flying care. He even mocks her by revealing the countless options of feasts he could be having at any time he pleases. Siner clearly wasn't expecting that. Her mouth is left open at the sight of him casually summoning food out of thin air. She immediately raises a question of how he was able to summon the food and is on the verge of believing that superpowers exist in this world. Her rage levels are off the charts because of her inflated ego. After all, not even a giant influencer with millions of followers behind her has a power like that, so it doesn't make sense why a normal loser should. She tells her men to smash everything. But Chenyu was ready for that, and he summons 2 baskets full of eggs into the hands of his underlings. It turns into an all-out egg assault, with the way they're chucking eggs at her and her men. To make it worse, these are all rotten eggs, causing Siner a nauseating feeling. Her rage continues to grow, and she's pissed at her outfit getting all ruined. The older man with her is running out of patience and demands the young man stop messing around, but Chenyu does him the worst. He chucks the entire basket on his head. The stench coming off this man after that should be enough to make all life go extinct. The old man tumbles and flops to the ground, knocked out, while Chenyu signals his underlings to get inside as they've done enough. The door slams shut with all 3 of them entering, leaving Siner and her lackeys covered in the bad smell and stains of rotten eggs. She's done playing around and wants to end his life, even offering her body to the person who manages to take the bastard down. Inside, Xu Yao is worried that these people will actually break in at this point. But Chenyu is calm. He's convinced that not even the strength of Godzilla will be enough to break the door. So he goes on to sit casually, opening a new category from his system and converting points. Right now, his current balance sits north of 1.5 million. Luckily, even the clothing category unlocked just when he needed it the most. Their troubles get even worse with the start of acid rain, as pointed out by Xu Yao. She warns them of the inevitable. And Shen Yu's response? He thinks this is just the right time to take a walk. Even his bros are like, yeah, we're actually following you on that one. One of them has become his biggest fan, and Shen Yu applauds him for it. He hands him a jacket so they can be safe while doing exploration. The man asks if they're going to be heading out on a secret mission and even wonders if Chen Yu is secretly the leader of some underground organization. Chen Yu tells him not to get deluded by power fantasy novels and urges him to come with him. With the 2 of them exiting the apartment, he sees Siner, Zener, and her lackeys still standing around. Chen Yu legitimately swipes her away as if she was nothing more than an obstacle in his path. Insulted by this treatment, the influencer is ticked off. She can't believe that he actually touched her like that, especially when she's got millions of followers. Celebrities look up to her, and then here's a loser who wouldn't give 2 cares if she died. As expected, the rage points only go up from here. Just like the other underlings, this one immediately switches allegiance and betrays Zener. He's more than happy to tag alongside Chenyu so long as he's provided and cared for. The influencer wasn't expecting this trash servant to actually betray her like this. The man, Zioan, looks at her with disgust and tells her to get lost, as he's found a new brother with superpowers, which is just hilarious. The influencer warns Chenyu that he's not getting off lightly for having enraged her to this extent. Zener acts stuck up and states that she's willing to ignore everything as long as he cares for her with food and water. To her absolute shock, Chenyu slaps the living daylights out of her, reminding her to know her place. The influencer continues to yap on and on about her millions of fans, ordering him to hit her again if he's so brave. The hilarious part is, Chenyu does it again, and she gets on her knees this time too. The influencer can't believe that he's actually slapping her like this. She's never been treated with such tough love, as everyone she's ever known only ever tried to win her favor. The girl is so delusional that she thinks he's using reverse psychology to increase his chances somehow, which is funny because Chenyu literally doesn't give a crap and has acquired a free servant on top of it. As his two underlings are bickering in the back, Chenyu announces that they'll be leaving now without any more trouble. A while passes, and as they're walking in the hall, they come across Biwei, who is practically shivering in the cold. Her underling, who tries to help her out. She's in such a pitiful condition. Hu offers her the jacket Chenyu gave him. In his mind, Chenyu thinks she's only temporarily surrendering to increase her chances of survival. He tells Hu to take her upstairs and let Chu Yao handle the rest regarding her condition. This leaves him to tread on his own outside. The acid rain is getting serious, corroding the living and the non-living. Chenyu doesn't have high hopes but wonders how the delivery station is holding up since he's got an important package he needs to check on. As he's moving along, a woman out of nowhere demands his attention. He wasn't expecting to be called out like this. The woman's clothes are all tattered, and she boasts an assertive tone, demanding that he come to her. Chenyu has found his type and thinks she's quite smart to lure him with a honey trap. He is so taken that he's happy to aid her with any troubles. To his surprise, the woman pulls a blade to his neck, demanding that he take off his clothes immediately. Even with a knife against his neck, Chenyu is casual with his flirting attempt and reminds her not to be so harsh. The woman doesn't want him talking and only cares about his clothes. He then asks how he'll get back if he does surrender them. The lady doesn't really care and only cares about herself, to which Chenyu remarks that she's brilliant. Her sharp eyes peer at him with a glare, and she demands he follow orders or die. Following her orders, he slowly takes off his hood and offers to help her. He's okay with sorting out her issues, after all. The woman, just like the others, receives the hood and talks him down for being a loser who shouldn't even be given the chance to talk to someone like her. Chenyu smiles this time, having had enough. He forces the system to dematerialize the hood from her hand and equips it back to himself. This time, Chenyu tells her that he's open to help as long as she's willing to beg. Unable to comprehend the slightest of what happened before her eyes, she helplessly stares down at her hands, questioning how it disappeared. With that, Chenyu continues his walk, ignoring her. But the woman is still adamant in her stance and reminds him that negotiations are out of the question. She attempts to slash him with her blade, but Chenyu easily catches her feeble attempt and pushes her next to a wall before twisting her arm up and reminding her dearly that it's her who isn't qualified to talk to him. The woman still maintains an arrogant attitude, claiming that not even his skills will be useful in an apocalypse where bottom feeders like him have no value. Just like all the others, she taunts him for not even having the resources to survive. He lets her go and calmly explains that he can have as many resources as he wants. She thinks he's lying and talks him down for being so helpless that he can't even have a proper meal. She's fine with him leaving with his clothes intact as long as he runs an errand for her around the hospital. The reward Chenyu is going to get? 2 bundles of noodles. She's out here thinking that she's doing him a favor, but Chenyu is internally seething at the thought. This man legitimately slaps her across the face, giving the woman a reality check as he exclaims that 2 bundles aren't worth his while. Meanwhile, this girl is having some serious issues understanding the loser before her. She can't believe she took a hit from a bottom-dwelling clown. But Chenyu is finished talking and simply turns the other way while she's mouthing his name. The woman tells him that she'll remember this treatment, but he's simply uninterested in entertaining her any longer. In fact, he gives her his address, welcoming her to come test him anytime. She's pissed but wants to wait until she gets all her supplies back. Anyway, having collected his package, Chenyu returns to the apartment building through the elevator. Here he finds the influencer, Signer, who immediately undergoes an attitude switch. This time, the woman is practically worshipping him and begging for a chance to be let inside. Chenyu is starting to realize how she ended up becoming a top influencer. It's because of shenanigans like this. His underlings warn him to be wary of the woman, who has already caught on that they've got unlimited supplies. That's why she turns so calm. The fake woman even grabs his hand, teasing him and telling him that she's all his now. She doesn't even want to live stream anymore and promises to dance for him. The girl even offers suspicious services, but as a man of principle, Chenyu reminds her that he doesn't care about anything but her attitude. If she's fine with keeping that in check, he's good. And that's how Zener joined the crew. She's handled by Chu Yao, who takes her to a shower because of how bad she stinks. With all of the rage points recently collected, his credits shoot up to 2 million. Also, Zener's favorability for him is genuine and is slowly increasing. With this, he'll be able to bank on the same benefits as he did with Chu Yao.